Welcome. Today we're going to show you guys how we are helping roofing companies get the phones ringing every day. And today is all about Google, AI summaries on Google, ChatGPT, and other various AIs that recommends and rank to the top of search engine, maps, anywhere that your customers are. Pretty much this is going to help you out, get to the top of that, right? It all ties in together. Everything that we're going to be talking about on this whole webinar. It's all foundational. It's all the fundamentals of marketing. And let's dive in. So first thing first, you can kind of see that SEO and AI optimization, it's just the first in line of our marketing fundamentals. On this side is like an overview of the topics that we do cover in these webinars. And these webinars are the last Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Time every month. But this is just one piece of the pie. So let's talk about how this falls into the scheme of things. You can kind of see over here, SEO, content, AI, that's a long-term strategy. It's not pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is like building a fire with gas versus this, which is building a fire with wood. It's a long-term strategy. It helps you build trust over time. Trust is not something that is instantly given, right? Just like you trust somebody, it's not like you trust them right off the bat. You have to build a relationship, spend time with that person. This is like the whole system that we use to build trust with AI, doing it digitally, not just human to human, but also on the digital factor too. And this is also the whole, like I said, this is just one piece of this giant puzzle. We're just going to be touching on this one piece of the pie, number two, which is SEO and AI, which is a hot topic right now, especially with all the changes that have come. And we actually outline this into a checklist. We call our ultimate roofing marketing checklist. Chris, my partner, he's going to put this in the chat right now. So you can download this link in case you already don't have this. This goes through everything pretty much that's on the last slide that we covered, but it puts it in like a paint by numbers checklist format that you guys can follow. And this is the first couple pages that has to do with SEO, website, and AI. All right, attention please. Let's be in the moment. At the end of the day, we spent a lot of time, me and my team, on this. And I always see people on Facebook like scrolling through things, looking for some magic answer. I get it, man. We're in the age of Ozempic where people could take shots and lose 100 pounds. People want instant results. But this is that moment, man. This is that impactful. Like, what would an extra roof per week mean to you? An extra 2 roofs, 3 roofs, 5, or whatever. What would that mean to you, your business, your family? And this isn't practice. This is stuff that we actually use for our clients, for our roofers. We're only doing roofing marketing, roofing contractor, exteriors marketing. This is what we use to put food on the table for those guys as well as ourselves. What we're going to cover today is the latest and greatest with the algorithm, how AI and these answer engines, as they call them, are shaking up the market. The things that you may have put in place in the past, not quite working anymore. And you know that. At the end of the day, things that worked 5 years ago don't work today. Things that worked 10 years ago. This stuff is always changing. So you got to kind of keep up with it, keep ahead of it, and not drive yourself crazy and want to blow your brains out, right? And don't worry, right now, Google's still where it's at. It's still figuring out how to monetize this AI. Let's be honest, Google's in it for the money. $500 billion company, probably more than that. They're trying to figure out how to monetize this. And ChatGPT's got them on their heels a little bit, as well as the other AI that's out there. But the market share is shifting. These guys are the lion's share, but Google's adapting, and you have to adapt along with it. They're not going to go down like the phone book, the yellow pages. They're here to stay, and they're trying to figure this out as we go. So we're in a good position right now in the timeline of where AI is coming and to where we are to get ahead of it. A little bit about me, like why you should listen to me. Who am I? Carmen Taglia, Roofing Rev Marketing. I could confidently say I'm the only roofing marketer out there that has been on Fear Factor twice and won. I've been doing this for 25 plus years in marketing. And our special sauce is like we only market roofing companies. We only partner with one per area. We're loyal and we partner with you and we want to grow with you in that area. That's me over here eating a maggot shake. Chris can add the link to the chat for you guys to watch that later on. This is me doing a boat jump where I go from boat to boat. I hit the side of the boat and I biffed it and broke my arm, but I was such a goof that Joe Rogan wanted me back on there. So 20 years ago, young stallion. But hey, with this, I won $50,000, started my very first generalist marketing company 25 plus years ago with my brother Chris, who's also my partner, which evolved now to Roofing Rev. And this is a picture of Chris over here along with me. And he's my better looking, younger, smarter. He's actually the guy that gets things done to people. He's my ops guy. He's my nerd. He's my whiz, the technical guy. That's my younger brother. He's also on this as well. With that being said, our mission is to partner with roofing companies and double your revenue year over year, 4x your revenue. So let's jump into it. Let's rock. The secret formula, SEO plus AI optimization. And just to get a feel, you could put in the chat if you are worried about AI coming and eating your lunch right now. Just put a number 1 in the chat. You could put a number 2 if you're like me, where it's like, I've accepted. I'm an old timer. I'm almost 50 years old. I accept that AI is here. It's here to stay. It's going to be part of our marketing moving forward, part of the equation. So 2, if you're like me, you can accept it. Number 1, if you're a little bit scared of it. And let's just start off. I don't want you to have to wait to the very end of what the formula is. We're going to dive into this entire training right here, but we call it the R.E.A.L AI SEO Formula. It's a 4-part framework. It's got its own cute acronym to win in Google and AI search. If you're not feeding the AI the right signals, you're invisible. It's not exactly like SEO, but if you've done SEO and you've championed SEO over the years, you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? All this stuff is going to work for you as well. It's just a different twist. It's a different way of doing it. And that AI SEO is answer plus authority plus alignment plus activity. Google wants you to put the reps in. ChatGPT wants you to put the reps in on their platforms. It's what the algorithms reward. The AI rewards it, right? So you either want to build trust or you're going to get buried with trust. So the R in this is respond like a human. Now is the time. Over the years, it's been a problem with these algorithms that they weren't human enough. There wasn't enough human interaction with them. Now the time is with these learning language models like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini and all these guys, that you could actually have the human aspect. AI, it's now promoting your actual content, your actual trustworthiness, not so much you're just paying for it and doing a bunch of ads on Google. Every page, you need to really answer a homeowner's question clearly, plain language, no big words, no, answer the questions that they want to know. They want to know about pricing. They want to know about your processes. They want to know about this stuff. So we're going to dive into that a little bit later, but I just want to throw this out in front right now. This is really important. The E in this is establishing authority. This became a big part of Google's algorithm as well, but they only want to recommend people they trust. Kind of like the human aspect. I want to recommend somebody that's going to get the job done. I don't want to embarrass myself. So think of it, they're doing this digitally, right? You want to show real proof from real people, real reviews, real photos, not stock photos, your licensing, your local news mentions or third-party mentions. But they want like first-party data, and they're preferring that as well, which we'll get into later on. Authority is just consistency plus the credibility plus your citations. And your citations, to give you the definition of that, it's just basically your name, address, phone number, and stuff across all the web. The A, you want to align for these AI engines. You're just not optimizing for one person anymore, which was the great gods of Google. You're training this AI. This AI is remembering you. It's actually a lot more upfront with you. If you ask it questions, it will give you the answers. It's not hiding it. You can't ask Google, hey, Google, how do you rank me in this algorithm? It doesn't tell you. But like with chat, AI actually does, which is really cool. It's different. But yeah, structure your site so it's easy for the AI to understand, easy for people to understand. Treat it like it's like an actual person, even though it's not, right? Use clear headings, schema, your titles, all that stuff, bullet lists. Nobody's reading these giant walls of text. Like bullet list that stuff. Feed content in the chat and GPT, Perplexity, Gemini, and then just see how you appear and then just keep tweaking. Make those adjustments until you're showing up all the time. And that's going to matter what kind of market you're in. Your metro, your local, your rural, where are you at? And the L in this is link. You got to link everything together. I want to see clear links from your web page to your Google business profile, from your social. It wants the same story. It doesn't want you saying one story over here and one story over there, and it just confuses it. Just like you would confuse your customers, you confuse your prospects. You want to be able to get this everywhere, right? And link it all together, right? Let's start with the why. Why does this stuff matter? What is the big deal? Let's jump into it. This is pretty much how the Google is laid out today. Google still is the lion's share. It's 95% Google and 5% ChatGPT and all the other AIs. But at the end of the day, this is pretty much it. And as you can see, on the left here, you have the paid stuff. On the right here, you have the organic stuff. 70% still go to organic and they bypass the paid. Even now, you can in Google, they're correcting their mistake knowing this. You can hide the pay-per-click. They started that about like a week or so ago, and they might be phasing out the pay-per-click aspect of it. Their new primary is the pay-per-lead, which is the Google local service ads, which is up here, right? So it's mimicking what they did on the Google map, but they're monetizing it. They're figuring like how could we make more money, obviously. But you can also see that the pay per lead is also starting to become like an Angie's List. Before it was just exclusive leads and you paid per lead. Now it's becoming very convoluted and they have it where you can actually pick, I think, up to three or four other sources to also come out. So watch out for that because your leads are going to get watered down. Obviously, it's better you doing a quote and being the only guy showing up versus fighting against eight other people's. Just kind of like Angie's List or Home Advisor. So watch out on that. But people, they still do choose the organic, and we see that. We see that in our numbers. Like these are numbers from actual clients. 72% organic, 67% organic, 76% or 74% organic. This reflects. This isn't just practice or I learned this somewhere. I'm seeing the data in my own results. At the end of the day, SEO matters. You're probably going to do well ranking in AI if you were good at ranking in SEO and ranking on Google. You know, it's not exactly the same. It's different citations, different schema, different technical mumbo jumbo. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. All right, now what about no-click search? I'm sure you guys have heard zero-click, no-click search. This trend is increasing and it's only going to get more prevalent over time. When the prospect goes to AI and types in, who is the top three roofer near me, whatever, it gives you that AI summary at the very top of Google. Or they're going into ChatGPT and they're never even going to Google. Similar to your Google map, they might not ever go to your website. They just might look at you on the map, see that you have 500 reviews and you've been around for 40 years. Just click the call right there and then. Same thing with your local service ads. They don't ever go to your website. They go to more information on Google. It's its own like little directory. They never really step foot on your door. And more and more prevalent, these AI summaries are coming at the top of search. So let's kind of walk through like the new way of search. Think of AI as a summarized singular answer that you can actually talk back to. It just doesn't give it to you once. You ask a question, search, think of like long tail keyword terms like roofing company, Sarasota, Florida, that uses Da Vinci tile. Or that's how people are doing more research inside of ChatGPT and getting found. Here's another side note too. The results that it gives you, it has to give you an answer, right or wrong. It's trying to figure out the right answer, but it doesn't always mean that the answer is right. You really have to fact check this stuff. People are in awe of this thing. They think it's like the voice of God. It's not. It has to give you an answer regardless. Where do you think it's pulling this stuff from? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Where is it pulling this stuff from? And this is the Google Gemini no-click search, the stuff that pops out at the top of search that AI is pulling from these different sources that it trusts. And surprisingly, it's trusting more human sources. BBB, I thought they were going to be bankrupt. They were doing not so hot until AI came back, kind of revived them. You'll see a lot of BBB citations that I'm going to show you. Yelp, that's another one. I can't stand Yelp. Another company that was like, oh, not doing so hot. They're back in it. They trust Yelp. Reddit. I thought Reddit was like for my little kids' video games, but that's like actual people putting opinions, putting reviews, putting things that matter on Reddit because it's actual human beings that are with the technology. It's almost like this cyborg technology, right? Becoming a trusted brand that your customers and prospects trust. It's more important now than ever. It's like the old analogy. When's the best time to plant a tree? It's 20 years ago and today, of course. Like that's really prevalent now in the age of AI. And this is pretty much what we're going to review today, the AI optimization strategies, how to get into the AI overview answers, how to build brand authority for AI results, basic and advanced code prompts, and then the new secret SEO plus AI optimization formula, which we already exposed at the beginning of this. But first, let's talk acronyms. What are they calling this thing? Is it AI, SEO, AIO, EIO, AEO, GEO? They can't quite figure it out. And right now, AEO, if you Google it, it is American Eagle Outfitters. We're talking Cutie Pie, Sydney Sweeney. Everybody's in love with her. It's hard to fight with her, right? Like, come on. I don't know why people love this girl, but they just do. GEO, it's the gene expression omnibus, like some outdated database of genes that the government started and now they don't fund anymore. It's falling off the wheels, but hey, man, they were here first. Maybe if they had Sydney Sweeney as a spokesperson, American Eagle Outfitters, maybe they get funded again. Who knows? But really, AEO, when they're talking about that, think of answer engine optimization, those ones that aren't as smart as ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gronk or all those other ones. It's the Alexas, it's the Siris, the Google Voice Assistants, the things that run your house, things that pull from answer and from their AI generated responses. They're a little bit more canned, right? And then there's GEO, the generative answer engine, the generative engine optimization, they call it. So that's the big ones. That's the chats, the Geminis, the Perplexities, and everything else. I like AI, SEO. I'm trying to push for that one, but who cares what I think? But yeah, at the end of the day, Google is still king. Like I said, you're not going to have to throw away the baby with the bathwater. Google still has that 95% line share versus the 5% of everybody else, which is pretty much all these AI engines combined. And this kind of shows you this is, I don't have one for roofing services. The only data I could pull is from home services. Google still has 10 million searches every month on various home services, including roofing. And ChatGPT, it's getting some line share. It's getting some traction, but it's not there yet. It's going that way. In fact, when people search, the search intent is different. The search intent on Google is like when somebody's looking for a company, looking for a vendor, they're typing in something direct. It's concise the way that they search. They're looking for something like a vendor, like a company. Whereas an AI, people are more or less researching for an answer. It's becoming more of the norm. They're even shipping out now Chromebooks with Gemini without the search engine part of it, just Gemini, the Google Gemini platform. Google's hedging that way. That's going to be the new platform, but just hasn't married the two together yet. It's like in this, I have this over here and this over here, and they haven't had a baby yet. But the next thing to come out is I think they're going to have a baby, and that's going to be what's coming up in the pretty near future. So don't feel like you have to throw away all your SEO and your website. You're not quite there yet. Everything's going to be okay. At the end of the day, you've built this out. You've got a great foundation, great reputation, great brand. That's all going to hopefully transfer over. And this is just more of what we were just talking about, right? So SEO still matters. Hard work does pay off on both fronts, but it's not exactly the same. It's similar. It has its similarities. So if you want right now, you could go ahead and kind of search for yourself in Google and ChatGPT and kind of see how you file out, how you show up. I'm going to show you, I looked at the top roofing companies in Stockton, Illinois, and this is how they show up. They're on the LSAs. They're down here, not in the sponsored, but they're definitely on the map. They're definitely in organic. And now when I go over to the Gemini side of things, typing in the same thing, they still popped up as well that you can see. And then ChatGPT. And This partner that we work with, we're not putting 100% effort into a 5% problem. Google's 95%, everything else is 5%. That's how we split our efforts. We're just touching up things. We're just taking what we already do on Google and SEO and we're ironing it out for AI for the time being, knowing that on the horizon this is what's coming and it paid off without having to revamp everything and go crazy with everything. No matter what one of these platforms you're on, you've got to build trust. We're going to kind of show you next exactly how it goes through and what it's actually pulling from. Because you got to kind of wonder, what is it pulling from? On Google, a lot of it's pulling from Google because they're greedy. They want you to be active on their platform, right? So it pulls from all the things you do, not only your website, which is right here, the content on your website, but it's also pulling from the map. We optimize the heck out of this map, this Google business profile. It pulls from your reviews, the keywords in the reviews, the images that you put up here, everything that you're doing here. But it's very Google centric. They want you to drink their Kool-Aid. But on something like a ChatGPT, and you can see Gemini also favors their own things. You can see like these little Yelp. This is pulling from Boss Roofing, which is another roofing company. I don't know why it doesn't even really mention them in here. Well, maybe it does. Here, yeah, it does pull Boss right here down here. It's pulling from this map, but you can see it pulling from Yelp. It's pulling from this Yelp. It's pulling from this K Killer Construction. You could just ask it. You could just kind of see where it pulls from. This is on Gemini, right? On ChatGPT, let's kind of see what sources it's pulling from. Oh, where are my sources? Oh, right here. Yeah, it's pulling from Elevated Roofing's source. It's pulling from its Facebook. It's pulling from its Yelp. BBB, once again, these guys that you thought were dead, don't sleep on these guys. BBB, hey man, fill that thing out, optimize it, pay them the $100 a year or whatever they charge nowadays. That's pulling from MapQuest. Who would have thought that? That's a pretty large citation, pretty large map directory. Obviously, where it's pulling from, it trusts it, right? So you can go ahead and put your own. Do a competitor in your area. So if you're looking up roofers, let's just use top roofers in Chicagoland. Let's do the commercial side. So if you're going for commercial roofing in Chicagoland, you're like, hey, I want to be up here with these guys. Like, what am I going to do? It's pretty much like the one-up game. That's always what it's been, right? So you can see it's pulling from their website. This one's pulling from their website. This one's pulling from Nation's Roof. DC Taylor. Here's the map it pulls from. But hit these sources. And here it goes. Here's the, beyond the websites. Where else is it pulling? Once again, BBB. So that was on Gemini. Now that's on this as well. A1 Roofing, Commercial Flat Roof Company. These are all Olson Roofing. Yelp. Once again, Angie's List. I hate to say it, but they're in it. You'll see a lot of Reddit on these sometimes too. When it's opinion and review wise and trust related questions, we'll see Reddit on there a lot, which is really shocking. Like I said, I thought that was a thing for video gamers like kids to fart around on, but there's a human aspect behind it and it sticks. And you could kind of reverse engineer this. You can actually ask ChatGPT, how did you come up with? It'll tell you. It actually gives you the answer, which is a cool thing. Like I wish you had this on Google 20 years ago. We wouldn't have to take all these courses and be a marketer with 25 plus years to actually figure this out. But it tells you official company websites, Google Map reviews and data, industry and trade sources, established. That's the one thing. You can't help whether or not you've been in business for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but it does look at that. So you definitely have to have that on your site, right? And you can expand it. But you can also ask the question like, what's the best way to rank in ChatGPT? And it gives you the answers. It gives you an outline. You could see the citations here that it's pulling. You can see what it's telling you right here. Of course you want to optimize that stuff. Then you could go down this rabbit hole. And this is what we do. Topical authority. We're going to talk about all this stuff later. Trust signals, brand mentions, be the brand that people trust. And then align the content with how people ask questions, your customers, your prospects, keeping it current, putting in the reps. I always use the analogy. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you wouldn't work out 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for 1 month and expect to be a world-class bodybuilder. They want you to do the reps over time. Consistency matters. And then monitoring and tracking. We use software to track all this stuff to see what direction things are going in, what's improving, what's not improving, and then tying it to your bottom line as well. So you can ask it questions, and that's just kind of like an overview, a quick overview of how it's pulling the data. But you can easily reverse engineer this. We're going to get into that a little bit later. This is not going to be so technical. I'm not teaching this to a bunch of SEO and AI geeks. The people that I'm talking to are roofers, roofing companies. I just want to give you a pretty good overview of everything, but without confusing you or making you want to kill yourself or be so bored to death that you fall asleep. A lot of that we're talking about, it's simple concepts, but simple is not easy, right? It takes hard work. This is like roll up your sleeves kind of work. And you can measure a lot of this stuff with softwares. There's a lot of softwares that help you out. The AI itself will help you out. It will help you come up with strategies and systems for this as well. Once again, if all this stuff is over your head, you don't want to have to technically do this kind of stuff. If you want to talk to somebody, I can have my technical guys do this for you. We could give you that AI and SEO ranking report. You just have to scan it or just DM me in the chat. All right, what is the secret formula? There's no instant answer. There's no Ozempic shot. Here's what we're seeing for our roofing companies and also in our industry. This is the new AI optimization formula. You need to answer, quit pivoting the question when people talk about pricing. When people are asking about how long something take or what kind of materials you use or your warranties, you got to answer those questions. Don't beat around the bush because that doesn't build trust. Same thing on AI, same thing on Google. You have to build trust at all times. There's books and coaching, they ask you tell. There's tons of stuff on that. But you want to answer it, more importantly, in all different media formats. You want to answer it in text. You want to answer it in images. You want to answer it in videos, whatever it may be. And you want the answer to always be the same, right? You don't want to say one thing on this platform and another thing on another platform. Just keep that in mind. You also want to have a clean structure. It's more important now than ever to have everything clean on your site, have everything optimized correctly, have the hierarchy of everything correct, structure everything with the correct headings, bullet points, just have clear formatting. And then you want to build authority with first party data and expertise, not just generic stuff that you're saying. Reviews are more important now than ever, all that kind of stuff. You want to, your brand, you want to be mentioned and cited constantly online. You want to build authority. You want to be referenced by others that these guys trust, like the BBB, like Reddit, Yelp, whatever. And then you want to be that brand that the AI promotes. If you do your job right, the AI is going to promote for you. In Google right now, they're seeing how things are going. They're going back in, they're correcting their mistakes of building the brand up. People, and not just the name of a company. Think of it like, okay, your company has a name. You have people that work at that company, but some of those people, they come and go, whatever. The owner of a company, the people of a company, the leadership of a company, those are the ones that stay. So they're really looking at like the experts, your voice, not just your brand's voice. Nobody knows really maybe your roofing company name, but they know the person, right? The human factor is really important now. And you have to do that online. You have to do that digitally. And that's all really that this is. You're doing something human digitally online. And that's what's going to trust in the future. It's getting better at it as well as it goes. Technology gets better. And talking about these citations and stuff like that, links and everything like that, I have a workbook which is all these that you could be on. So obviously the best link you could get from Google is the Google business profile. So we have that here, right? We have Yelp, Facebook, Bing, like this spreadsheet. Chris will share this with you. It goes on and on. And then we have industry specific ones. Certainteed, Owens Corning, GAF, IKO, NRCA, all these guys. You want to be on their website because that's a high authority link. Google trusts that. AI trusts that. People trust that. It's going to summarize that into the AI. And it's going to be a pretty big ranking factor. So we'll give you this. I don't want to get too much out of this on link building because that could be its own training and webinar all on its own. This is just a criteria for inclusion. We touched on ratings and reviews. It's not just about getting a review here and there, or if it's only a 5-star review. It's how many reviews do you have? What's the frequency of reviews? It's going to prioritize those companies that have a lot of reviews. I always think of a review as like you have an old-fashioned map and you're putting a pin on that map. Only you're digitally doing it with that pin, and it's got the service that you performed, the location, and the person, and whether or not they had a good experience or not. So it's like what they're digitally doing with those reviews. Years in business, like I said before, unfortunately, you can't help it if the guy down the street's been around for 40 years and you've been around for 4 years, but you've got to say it on your website. It is going to reward experience established. And just like your customers are. They're going to want to go with a guy that's been around for a while, not trucking a truck that's here today, gone tomorrow, right? Especially in the areas that you don't have licensing and stuff like that. Service range, everything you have to offer, full service stuff, whether or not you do replacement, storm damage, roof install, commercial, and then siding, gutters. They want you to be a one-stop shop. If you do all that stuff, definitely you want to put it on your website, and then you want to also put the areas that you do those in. 24/7 service. That's another one. Around the clock, open all the time. If you're only open till 2 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's probably not going to give you that great of a, it's not going to promote you that much because they're like, these guys aren't even open half the time. So you being open longer, you having longer hours, better hours, they look at that. That's part of this. Local presence, like we said, every single target area. Think of it like you're a dot on your speck on the ocean. You want to start specking out all the way and make like a cluster around your area. I'm in South Elgin, so I would hit Bartlett, I would hit St. Charles, I would hit Elgin, I would hit all these places that are 5, 10, 15 miles around me and start optimizing for hyper local stuff so I can go 5 miles out, 10 miles out, 15, 20. All the stuff in proximity really is a big deal with both Google and AI. And then professional website, online presence. You have to have a strong brand, transparent pricing, answer questions that people are asking, good reviews, case studies, building trust. They call it building trust, top of the fold on a website. It's going to take all that stuff in chat as well. It's going to see that you're part of the BBB, the NRCA, you're GAF certified, you're CertainTeed, you're Da Vinci, whatever. They're going to look at all that stuff as well, right? Certifications, licensing. They want to make sure you're the real deal, and your customers do too. Your prospects do too. They want to work with somebody that's not insured or isn't going to be here tomorrow. Neither do you. You wouldn't work with somebody like that, right? The AI stuff closely matches the SEO stuff, but it's not exactly the same. You got to figure out the keywords. You got to have a great website with unique pages targeting those keywords, like we said, service area. But one thing that's kind of like a hidden guy is core vitals. It's also looking like speed kills. Like it's looking at how long does it take your web server to respond to any kind of query that they're typing in, any kind of stuff that they're typing into this stuff. What's the load time? How long does it take for an image to load, a video to load? When you respond, make the page responsive, how long does it take? So it's really looking at that stuff as well. So if you're on these like slow servers, these GoDaddy, which are like the McDonald's of servers, you really want to look into getting a better faster server, but then also optimizing everything so it's super fast to load on mobile because it's looking at that, right? More importantly, your consistency matters. You're optimizing your site, you got your on-site optimization, you got off-site stuff, you got other things coming in, your Google business profile coming in, the reviews are coming in, the citations, your name, address, phone number, stuff like that. And always, like anything, you want everything to be transparent and you want to see the system overview and you want to track your results. Always have to track everything. That's good for return on investment. Even in a marketing aspect, you got to inspect what you expect, right? It's kind of crazy that a lot of people have marketing and they don't track a dollar coming in and how many did it turn out on the other end. Everything's trackable digitally. There's no reason not to. You need to be able to see I put $1 into this and it spit out $20, $40, $100, whatever it may be. But you want to track all that stuff. And then we'll also be sharing our money keywords list. Chris will also put this in the chat as well for you to download. These are the top starting keywords that you want to make sure that you have. These are the best ones out there. We've already supplied it for you, so he'll give you that checklist. Let's talk about on-site. This is everything that happens on your web page. I'm not going to go through all this because we've been hitting this here and there, but think of the user experience with the SEO. Think of, like we said, every page for your service, hyperlocal, then that service with that town or the surrounding town next to you, all the cities that you serve, unique content for every page. You don't want to just copy paste stuff from ChatGPT because it knows that. You have to rewrite it in your own voice, just like I'm talking right now in my own voice. You could probably tell I'm not ChatGPT talking. I'm not reading from a ChatGPT prompt right now. I'm just reading from these slides and off the edge of my seat here, right? Meta descriptions that sell the click. Think about it when you go back to this right here. What sells this? It's the meta descriptions. Like elevator roofing company is the best serving Illinois, Iowa. Is that going to get me to click? So these are really important because if you have some goofy stuff in here, you can tell that the companies that rank high are the ones that have thought about this. And that's what that means. Name, address, phone number in the footer of your website. Once again, I can pull up and you can see how fast that loaded up. Just the basics. This is like SEO 101. It transfers to everything. You can see the trust factors up at the top of the website, clear call to actions, clear unique selling positions and stuff like that. How long is the warranty? Oh, 10-year. You guys licensed? Yeah. You guys guarantee? Okay. Shingle Master, A plus rating, all this stuff. That's kind of like where it's online. It's good for human beings. It's good for the AI. It's good for everyone, right? Ongoing blogging, video blogs, stuff like that. You just always want to make sure you don't want to be the bodybuilder that works out 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for a month. You want to be the guy that slowly does things over time. Off-page SEO. Now this is the stuff that's coming in from the opposite end. So this stuff right here is your Google business profile. It's probably one of the best things that you could probably do online outside of having that foundational website. It's still one of the best ways to generate leads. Coming back here, 70% of the people go here. These are always the least expensive, cheapest way to get to a roof replacement customer is right here. You prioritize from the top down. We start here. Roofing marketing, roofing leads 101, Google business profile. Website, Google business profile, foundational stuff. Forget about doing AI targeting and crazy call centers from overseas and all this other stuff. You got to it's like sports, do the fundamentals first. Same thing with this. And a lot of this is driven by your reviews. You can see, especially when you get the local service ads, you might not ever get a local service ad when you're up against somebody that has 500 reviews and you only have 80. Like, they must do a lot of business in order to get 500 reviews. Good for them, right? 4.8, 20 years in business. This guy's 10. Maybe I want this guy because I know he's local and this guy isn't local. You never know. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to compete. And a lot of it's driven through these reviews. And then the citations, which we just shared that big sheet with you, getting those outside citations coming in, links coming in. And then building links that other people trust. If somebody links to you, links to your website, links to whatever your content, it means that they trust you. Google looks at links. And so does the AI, very importantly. Like you could see back going to this, these are all things coming in. These are all links. This is coming in. This is coming in. This is all the stuff that, Yelp. So it's definitely looking at that. Then there's 200 other ranking factors. I'm not going to go through all these with you. Like I said, I could have a whole technical aspect all on its own. But one thing to note out of all this stuff, out of all the technical stuff is tiebreaker goes to the best user experience metrics. So I'll always keep that in mind. Like it's rewarding the user experience, the end user's experience. Are they going to a page and clicking off of it right away because they're not seeing something? How long are they staying on the page? The bounce rate, stuff like that. And then how they're interacting. Are they clicking and going to another page? And are they interacting with the chats? Always think of the human aspect because this stuff is always going to change. What we're doing today is going to be different than next year. That's going to be different than 3 years from now. 5, 10, 15, whatever. All this stuff is always going to be evolving. So you've got to evolve with it. But one thing that doesn't evolve is the way that you treat a person, the way that you humanize a person. If you could reflect that digitally, you're always going to win. So always keep that in mind. Keep that as a strategy. You can think about it like this is an acronym they call it EAT, right? It's called expertise, authority, and trust. Expertise. Do you have expertise in this field? I hope you do. It's structured, rich media content. Then authority, where is it published? It likes links that come from well-published places. If you have a link on the New York Times, it's going to give you a better thing than I'm on Joe Blow's website, right? The quality of the links that are coming in that pass trust basically are very important. And then that's the next thing, trust. It's trust signals, implied trust. We're talking like back to that map board that you're pinning reviews on. It trusts that pin because somebody outside of them, somebody outside of your company actually put a pin in there and said, I did business with this company at this location right here for this service, and then it comes in. Always keep that in mind as well. And then proximity is pretty important overall. This is how we show map rankings for a certain keyword or whatever. You can see on the doorstep over here, they're ranking at a number 3, but as they go further out, they're nowhere to be found. And everything has to do with proximity. When you type in best tacos near me, you get the guy down the street. You're not getting a national brand in Los Angeles. So it's still to this day is the way that the algorithm works, the way the AI works overall. We also talked about the hours that you're open, the reviews, not only how many reviews you're getting, but how frequently you're getting these reviews, and then your service is broken down. All of this pulls from going back to the Google business profile. So if you have an active, well-optimized Google business profile, you have to obviously answer these on other platforms, frequently asked questions and stuff like that. It's taking it from here. It's taking it from the reviews. This from these are posts. This was done 10 hours ago. This was done 2 days ago. You're actively posting on this platform. Summary overall, the new formula, answer the questions that people are asking clearly. Write it like you're writing in clear English. Don't keyword stuff. Don't have ChatGPT do it. ChatGPT is a tool to help you come up with ideas and structure ideas. If you write it in your own voice, your own tone, you're going to get a lot further with it. Clean structure, make sure everything's squeaky clean, fast loading, headings, bullet points, very clear formatting. Build authority with those reviews, first party data, not just generic fluff. Get cited online from outside references, citations on other websites coming in, and then also feed content into the tools. You have to test things, A/B tests. I'll always have a job as a marketer because that's what I do. I get you to a certain point, and then I have to keep A/B testing it to make it better and pull more in there. And the answer is, at the end of the day, simple blog posts and keyword stuffing, it's not going to cut it anymore. The secret formula that we covered in the beginning, this R.E.A.L formula. Respond like a human, all the stuff we already reviewed. Establish authority. Align for AI engines. You're not just doing one format anymore. These other formats are coming to take Google's lunch, and Google knows. Like I said, they put their own AI inside these Chromebooks nowadays. They're not even really promoting Chrome anymore. And then feeding the content into ChatGPT, Perplexity, all these other AI systems. And then linking everything together and making sure everything's consistent. Consistency is really key on this, and keeping everything just linked together so it's easily accessible. And that is pretty much it. I'm going to share with you. Chris is going to put in all these I have the ultimate roofing marketing checklist. Like I said, we outline all this stuff in the first couple of pages. Chris is going to share with you the top keywords that will get you there if you don't already have these keywords. This will be great for you. This will boost your traffic right off the bat. We also have a lot of this offsite stuff that we do. We love the Google business profile. Google loves its business profile. They love themselves. We had a training on this. It's on YouTube. It's in our Facebook group, but we'll also give you the workbook as well. This kind of has more of a step-by-step on how to do this as well for your own. And then the spreadsheet that we have with all these citations, these directories, industry specific, review, regional, local, like a paint by number. Go through these and check these bad boys off one by one. Like I said, doing things yourself is great, but done for you is better. It's like grandma's cooking. Like you can always try to do something. You're not going to be able to do it like grandma did it. We're like grandma. We have a team of specialists. I don't even do this stuff myself. I've been doing this for 25 plus years, but I don't do this stuff myself. I have an SEO guy, I have an AI guy, I have a content guy, I have a social guy. So at the end of the day, if that's something that you want to talk about, we'll gladly audit everything for you and give you visibility scans, ranking reports, that map report that I shared with the dots and stuff like that. And once again, this is part of the just one piece of the pie. This is number two right here that we touched on, one and two, website, SEO AI, and then a little bit of number eight, which is referrals coming in. But there's so much more. This is top priority stuff, low hanging fruit, 101 white belt stuff that you should be doing first. Because like I said, it's always going to be the cheapest cost per lead, cheapest cost per acquisition for a re-roof or commercial roof or whatever it is. Like I said, if you want to call or talk to me, here's my number, DM me, whatever. If you want to schedule that strategy session, I would love to talk to you. But hey, this wraps it up. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.